An ironing board. One of the most, I guess, space-hogging single-purpose items in anyone's house, including ours. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be converting this floor model with the ugly print top to a wall model. I was out looking around and I couldn't find a wall model anywhere. Actually, one that I did find was a very short one, but I prefer the longer one. So I'm actually going to convert this into a wall-mounted ironing board, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So I brought the iron board out in the garage and have it tipped upside down here. So in order for me to make it pivot, I'm going to have to put some sort of hinge mechanism here so it can tip up against the wall. And when it comes to the legs, if you look at this leg here, I'm going to have to drop a level or something, and that's around where the leg is going to have to pivot. So I'll find out where that spot is and I'll mark it. And then this here will slide up to there, and that's where I'll have to fix it. And with that, I'll have to shorten one of these legs. I'll probably shorten it down on this shorted here, and then fix that to there at the proper height. So I might as well just start taking some measurements and look for a set of hinges to start making this into a sort of foldable ironing board. So I went through my miscellaneous box of hinges, and I was looking at some of these small hinges and these non-removable pin hinges, but I didn't think that would work just in case I have to take it off the wall. So what I decided on, I had an extra door hinge. So I'm actually going to mount this as such. I'm going to put a piece of wood inside here, and then mount that like that, so that it'll pivot, and it'll actually give enough room right there. Oh, actually, I'm looking at it the wrong way. Enough room that way, so it'll go like straight up against the wall, and I'll have the pin there just in case I'll have to take it out. So now I'll just cut some wood and just pop it in place to see how it looks. So here's the back hinge piece. This piece of board I have screwed in. There are actually two holes in the back right there, and those are just two panhead screws that I've screwed into this piece, holding it to the ironing board. And then I have this little block of wood here, and what's going to happen is these two holes here, this will screw into the wall, and so that when it folds up, it'll be like this. So that's the mechanism there. And again, I have some panhead screws used here, because that's going to primarily be hidden when it's down. When it's up, it doesn't really matter. And I just have some flathead number 8, I think they're about 1-inch screws holding that in right there. So that's the pivot mechanism. So now I'm going to attack the more complicated piece of the leg. So I had the legs taken off. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pivot the front leg here. You can see, you may be able to see two little marks there, one there by the tip of my finger. Anyway, that's where the leg needs to pivot. I was thinking about using this, but I couldn't figure out anyway because it only tips that far, and I have to cut the middle so it can tip up straight, so I can have a straight leg. Otherwise, it'll collapse upon itself. I thought about switching it around, turning it around, but then it would tip this way, which is pretty much useless. So I came up with the possibility of another idea to hook on the leg, and I'll show you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to mount a block of wood to the rails here and use this hinge, and it only backs up that far, so that'll be fine for the leg, and it flops down, so that should work. That should work okay. And then now it's just to put it all together, and I'll show you what it looks like. So for the leg, what I did is I cut it off the appropriate length, which is about 35 inches from the base. And I always have trouble with the hacksaw cutting a straight line, but I managed to cut a straight line. And then what I did is I put it in my wood vise. Actually, it's that vise right there, and I squat the last end of it a couple of inches, so that I have a flat place to rivet this hinge. So those are pretty big rivets there. So I laid it on top. I just marked a couple of center holes, and I got a very fine bit, and I drilled 3, and then I drilled a couple of bigger holes to take these rivets. And so when I mount it, it'll be able to pivot quite easily. And here is a little block of wood with 3 pilot holes, and that's attached there. So I'm just going to put that on there and clean it up a little, because there's some metal shavings and stuff over the place, and then I'll go and install it and show you what it looks like in operation. And here's the ironing board back in place. What I did is that you can see in there, I screwed that piece of board to the wall. You can use anchors if you have gyprock. And the leg is very sturdy there, great for ironing. And you just tip it back up. The leg automatically slides back in place. And I had this little red hook here screwed into the wall just to hold it. And it's just, there it is, back in place. Great, takes up no room whatsoever. Easily, storable, and it doesn't squeak as well. So there you have it. I made a regular ironing board into a wall-mounted one it cost me no money, just a little bit of time. So I hope you enjoyed this video.